Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. We have the Attorney General of Lagos State and the Commissioner of Justice, Senior Advocate Moyosore Onigbanjo. He joins us from Ikoyi, Lagos. Thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner, for joining us tonight. Let's begin the conversation around what happened yesterday. You had a press conference, was it Friday or Thursday, and you planned that you did not want any protests. What you envisaged was there might be trouble. But the Saturday event, that's yesterday, did it go as you envisaged or as you planned?
Okay, good evening. Thank you for inviting me. So when we had the press conference, there had been calls in the social media and in the media space by two sides. One who wanted to protest against the alleged reopening of the toll plaza at Lekki, and the other who said they wanted to defend Lagos. They wanted to protect Lagos from witnessing what happened on October, I think the 21st, when we saw all the looting, all the destruction, and everything. So what the state government decided, as itemized in the statement which I issued, was that the state government recognizes the right of people to freely assemble and to also freely express their opinion in accordance with the Constitution. But we, however, caution them that they should bear in mind that that right to freedom of expression and freedom of movement or assembly does not mean that they can block any road. It does not mean that they can vandalize public or private property. It does not mean that they can resist or prevent state government officials or men of the Nigerian police force from carrying out their lawful duties. In the statement, we also cautioned the police that in the event that there are protests, they should accord all those who protest their constitutionally guaranteed rights. So that was the stance of the Lagos state government. So yesterday at the toll gate, from the what we saw on TV, the police gathered at the toll gate. Understandably so, because they have to ensure that what we witnessed in the past does not repeat itself. So they were there in large numbers to prevent largely a breakdown of law and order. Arrests were made. We, as a state government, we don't have the duty or the powers to arrest people ourselves. The police made the arrest. Our duty, my duty as the Attorney General, is that when the police arrest anybody, we then look at the case file to see if there has been an offense or not. In this instance, the people who were arrested, immediately we learned that they were arrested. We directed the mobile court to go to wherever the police kept them and to let them face whatever charges that it was felt that they committed, and that our prosecutors should not oppose their being granted bail. And the court did sit at Panti late yesterday evening. The magistrate, the mobile court, moved there, and they convened and sat. And all the protesters were released last night on bail terms granted by the court, because our instructions was that bail should not, we should not oppose the bail applications by defense counsel. So that was largely what transpired yesterday. So the state government's concern largely is the safety of its citizens. whatever side of the divide you might be. The state government is also concerned that a repeat of the incident of October last year should never occur again. And we will do everything constitutionally to prevent such a reoccurrence. So largely, I think that was what happened yesterday.
Honorable Commissioner, let me ask, is there any regret from the point of view of the state government over how things panned out yesterday?
Well, I mean, when you say any regrets, so firstly, our duty is to follow the dictates of the law. And I believe yesterday, if people were arrested, they were charged to court, and bail was granted them. The state does not derive any joy from seeing people clamped in jail or from seeing people brutalized, but we must ensure that we have a society, we have a state where law and order prevails, and where everybody is free and secure to go about their business. So your right to protest only extends to where the other person's right to his own freedom of association and freedom of movement starts. And I believe that was the desire of the state government yesterday, that yes, people can protest if they want, it's their constitutional right, but bear in mind COVID-19 regulations, bear in mind existing laws, don't vandalize. We cannot afford the sort of vandalism we saw before. The state was also genuinely apprehensive that hoodlums might take over what is a peaceful protest. We've seen this before. And that was why the police came out in large numbers to ensure that this did not degenerate as it did the last time.
Okay, so I asked that question, Attorney General, because of some of what happened. And I'll come to that, the rights of the citizen to protest, the incidents of yesterday, some of which some have described as ugly. But let's quickly get one or two questions out. Have all these people been charged? And can you tell us what are the charges leveled against them?
Well, all the people who were arrested yesterday were charged. I think they were charged for conduct likely to cause a breach of the peace, mostly, and they've all been given bail. So those were the charges.
Saying that, Commissioner, you've seen some of the video, perhaps let me show you, of the treatment meted out on some of the arrested protesters. Let me show you perhaps the video that has now gone very viral about how police handled these men. So you can see there, Honorable Commissioner, those protesters, about 40 of them were said they have been arrested. And one of the protesters came online to say they were stripped. They were being treated badly. What do you have to say to this sort of treatment, Honorable Commissioner?
So firstly, we condemn any act of brutality, any dehumanizing act on the part of the police or anybody for that matter. So there are three ways to address this. So firstly is for the Commissioner of Police himself to set up what is known as an orderly room trial. That's the first leg of it. Secondly is that if investigations reveal that any police officer abused their authority yesterday, and those facts are sent to the DPP's office, and the DPP says that that policeman or woman has a case to answer, appropriate charges will be filed. There are instances where we have prosecuted policemen before for doing things which were contrary to law, to law and order. The third leg of it is that, so even these citizens who claim that they were brutalized, they also have the option to also sue the police to court for these acts which they allege. So on those three legs,
we are due for a break, but watching this, Commissioner, apologies.
Substantiated.
Yeah, apologies. These activities of the police were carried in the name of Lagos State government, whom you had a press conference with the police, a joint press conference with the police last week. And so how does this make the Lagos State government feel when citizens of Lagos are being treated in this manner?
So like I've told you, the police, when they go on their duties, it's not the state government telling them to do A, to arrest Mr. A or Mr. B. They have their constitutionally defined role. The state government has its own role. The police are to arrest. The state, through the office of the Attorney General, is to decide to prosecute or not to prosecute. So the police, within the Police Act, they can go outside there and they feel that there's a threat to peace, they can arrest. But then the file comes to the office of the DPP. Then the DPP issues a legal advice whether that person who is arrested has a case to answer or not. So it's not a case of the state government going on the street itself or officers of the state government going on the street to arrest people. The Nigerian police force is an entity, a legal entity of its own. It has its own rank and file. It has its own processes. But where the synergy comes in is that there is no state government which can maintain security, peace, law and order in its geographical area without the assistance of the police. But the role of the police stops when it comes to prosecution, and that's where the state takes over.
All right.
And even when the state prosecutes, then it goes to the judiciary to determine whether any infraction has occurred.
Honorable Commissioner, how would you react to this matter? Because when you say that the Lagos State government does not know what the police is doing, but we see the Lagos State government as a parent, I feel safe because I have a government, for example. But if I'm being maltreated and the government says it doesn't know what is happening, how do you think citizens will have confidence in the government?
So firstly, you said that because I had a press conference with the Commissioner for Police, that means that some complicity. So I'm having an interview with you now. If you go on to do something illegal tomorrow, does that mean that I have foreknowledge of it? Most certainly not. The police are there to ensure peace, security for everybody. It is not impossible that one or two people in a force as large as they are misconduct themselves. How you can then say the state is responsible for that, I don't know, and I will not agree with you. Because there are people working in your station. If a driver in your station goes on the street and knocks down somebody, does that mean the chairman of your company sent him to do that? Most certainly not. So we need to be able to separate this. And like we've said, if people feel that things that are untoward as have happened, there are 3 levels on which this can be addressed. And we should address it in that manner.
All right. Honorable Commissioner, there is another issue which of course, people will debate what you said about the state government, because I believe that, and I was going to ask, if not for our time, that since the government saw what happened, is the state government going to take up the police in the manner in which people were handled, or the kind of treatment meted out on these people?
Definitely, we're going to ask the Commissioner of Police to give an account of what happened yesterday. Most definitely, the state government will ask the CP for an account of what transpired yesterday. And let me also tell you something. So in Nigeria, if you are arrested on a Friday, you are probably going to end up in police detention or whatever detention till the next week. But we made sure that the court sat late on a Saturday to ensure that people arrested were released to go home. I think that in itself shows the intention of the state government to ensure that rights are protected on both sides. The state government is there for people who support it and people who don't support it. We are bound by the law, and we ensure that the law is carried out to the letter. So these people were arrested yesterday. It could have been very easy to say, oh, courts will not sit till Monday. But we didn't do that. We chose to get a magistrate there through the mobile court. We chose to get prosecutors there, and they were granted bail, and all of them released. It's another thing that could have happened was that they could have been granted bail, and they say, oh, it's a Saturday evening. The paperwork cannot be concluded until Monday. But no, that didn't happen because we were hell-bent on ensuring that nobody's rights will be trampled upon. If you charge anybody to court, it's a bailable offense. So let them enjoy their bail. They have their lawyers. Let them enjoy their bail. Let them have their day in court. That is what the rule of law is about. It's not about the rule of man.
All right.
And that is what the state is championing.
All right.
In this state, everybody is entitled to thrive.
Okay. Let's conclude the conversation in a few seconds in this, on this particular note. A lot of people are worried because of the incidents of the past few days. And some members of the panel of the Lagos State Inquiry are pulling out. And one is worried about what becomes of that panel if they are unable to form a quorum. But, Commissioner, if you can just in a few seconds also add to the debate over the part of the statement that was made at that press conference when the Commissioner of Police said, and I quote him now, he said, "Inasmuch as the police respect people's opinions and human rights, no protest will be allowed," underlining the fact no protest will be allowed. Those are the words of the Commissioner of Police. And if you look at Section 40 of the Constitution, it stipulates that every person shall be entitled to assemble freely and associate with other persons.
Okay, so if you read my statement, the first thing I said was that the law, the Constitution guarantees the right of people to demonstrate peacefully. And I said it in the presence of the Commissioner of Police. And I believe that if the Commissioner of Police say that, you might ask him why he said that. But as far as I'm concerned, I re-emphasize the right of people to protest peacefully, but only adding the rider that that right does not allow them to block any road, as we witnessed in the past, to vandalize or loot property.
All right, thank you so much, Honorable Commissioner.
So that's
for
my comment
Justice.
on that.
All right, thank you so much. The Attorney General of Lagos State and the Commissioner of Justice, Mr. Moyoshore Onigbanjo, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Thank you for clearing the air on some of these issues.